Hello, everybody. My name is Al Dennis. I'm with the Professional Storm Responders Storm Team. And today, our video is going to be going over tornadoes. Within this video, we're going to discuss the difference between watches and warnings, then the makeup of a supercell, specifically with tornadoes in mind. Then we're going to go over the EF scale, the demographics of the wind speeds and different things to make up the EF scale. And then we're going to wrap things up with things to think about after a tornado. And it's just going to be more along safety tips to keep in the front of your head after a wide scale event happened. Now, this could be either tornado or derecho or straight line winds. Really doesn't matter the direction of the wind. It really just matters the damage. All right, now in the beginning, when the storm is approaching, we have a watch and a warning. Up here on the screen, you could see to be in the watch category, that just means things are possible. Doesn't mean that it's happening. It just means the conditions are there. You want to continuously, or not continuously, but you want to frequently check your forecast, whether it's on an app, local media, or your local National Weather Service office. You want to monitor the sky just because sometimes a warning ain't put out, or a watch, correction, a warning is not put out yet. So you might see it developing before it actually gets warned. So you want to be cautious of that. Monitor the sky conditions. See if you see any of them great big puffy cumulus clouds building and all that good stuff. And finally, you want to start thinking, if something bad happens, where do I need to go? You know what I mean? Do I have a basement? Does my neighbor have a basement? Do I need to go up to a structure, a building like a firehouse or a storm shelter located somewhere in your community? So you want to think about those things when you hear a tornado watch or even a severe thunderstorm watch. You want to start thinking about that because you can go from just a thunderstorm warning or thunderstorm watch straight into a tornado warning, depending on the atmospheric condition. So, to help you out, this is a better way to understand the difference between a watch and a warning. Here's a real simple diagram, the difference between a taco watch and a taco warning. This could be for tornadoes, severe thunderstorm, blizzard, whatever the weather event is. Watch and warning are the same thing. You have the ingredients that could come together and cause an issue, or you have all of the stuff that came together and now you have the issue. You have all the ingredients to make a taco, you put them all together, you have a taco. You have all the ingredients for a tornado in the atmosphere, and then you have a tornado being produced. So here, that's a really good thing to help understand the difference between a watch and warning, because it's really imperative that you know the difference, because the actions are a lot different between a watch and a warning. Here you could see a classic supercell system. Now that you could see, you've got a lot of information on your screen. You could see the very top, your upper level winds, which is your shear winds, as well as your mid-level winds. You have your airflow coming in, and you can see your anvil at the very top. The anvil is when the storm system moves up in the atmosphere, it stops where the troposphere meets the stratosphere, um, and then it broadens out. You might have seen um, supercells and not known it, but a supercell from a distance looks like the Starship Enterprise. That great big round thing at the top of the Enterprise. The That's an anvil, and you can see at the top of the anvil which is not always the case. It's not a common occurrence, but you can get such strong updrafts within the mesocyclone that it pushes the weather out of the troposphere into the stratosphere. Now, in a perfect world, we'll have that wide open view at the bottom there. You can see the tornado really easy, but a lot of times it ends up being rain wrapping, which means that the cell is bringing rain 360 degrees around the tornado and draining around the base of the tornado, which makes it all but impossible to see unless you're right on it, which is extremely dangerous. Our storm team works really hard to make sure that none of our members are out chasing, can get this close to any severe weather. Our objective is to observe and report, and not to go in and pretend you're some famous TikTok weather guy running in and getting your vehicle beat up with hail, or potentially uh, the tornado shifting on you coming back in. So I'll digress back to the weather. But the supercell, this is a basic setup of it. Your rear flanking downdraft where your winds comes around. You can see the tornado is rotating counterclockwise, which is common for tornadoes. When they rotate clockwise, that's called an anticyclonic tornado. But one of the things we want to really push here is the knowledge of the basic supercell structure. If you see a cell or a system like this, which is a cell, if you see this storm cell moving towards you and it has an anvil on top of it, that should be one of your telltale signs. You know, hey, I better be a little bit more weather aware because we could be in a watch, like we spoke about earlier. The conditions are there. When it starts getting to an anvil, and especially when you're shooting over the top, shooting over the top, the or overshooting the top, then you have your taco. So we want to know the ingredients before we start eating tacos, if you know what I mean. Here's your basic information on that. Now we're going to look at the same system. This time, we're going to look at it from top down versus horizontally at it. Now we're looking vertically. The You can see here where the tornado is located, right here in the notch. Now you'll hear meteorologists, people in the on the TV and stuff talking about a hook echo. On the right hand side there, you could see the hook, and the echo is just the return of the radar. So a hook echo shows the inflow of air into a side of the system. That's where the air is being drawn in from to go up. And then the backside of it, your rear flanking downdraft, as it comes around, it creates a little vortice or uh, a tornado, a mesocyclone. The So when that's there, you'll see that other little red dot right there. And that's just where a lot of concentrated debris, and or not debris, but rain and things like that's in there, giving the radar something to bounce off of and come back. Now, this is really important. If you see a hook echo right there, if you see that in your area, you need to be thinking about getting into a sturdy structure. At this point, you need to be into a brick structure, like your local firehouse, police stations, a church. If you have a basement or a friend has a basement, you need to be considering that at this point. If you can see this anywhere in your county, because if the conditions are favorable there, the conditions are favorable throughout the entire area. There's been multiple accounts of tornadoes hitting and another tornado hitting right next to it, going up through cities, or the repeat, a train of storms moving over your area where the tornado moves through, does a bunch of damage, then there's still more instability in the air and another one forms, comes over it, or a lot in the Midwest. when, especially in the spring and fall of the year, you'll have some damaging tornadoes come through the area, and then when the low pressure moves through, it draws down the cool air on the backside of low pressure and brings in frigid air and even snow at that point. So it's some things to be thinking about with tornadoes. And again, here is an upper view of a classic scale, supercell looking down. And again, this is going to be a lot on what you see on a radar, whether it's National Weather Service, local media, an app you have on your phone. Here you can see a enhanced Fujita scale. Dr. Fujita created his own scale, and then later on, due to the building construction, things like that, they've redone it with new wind speeds and damage. Like I said before, a lot of the declaration of a number, your EF scale, will depend a lot on damage. And then, so here you can see an EF0 is wind speeds anywhere from 65 to 85, which causes light damage. An EF1 is from 86 to 110 miles an hour. That's moderate damage. An EF2 is 111 to 135 miles an hour. That will cause considerable damage. And these are two well built structures. An EF3, now we're getting into the more severe stuff. EF3 is 136 to 165 miles an hour. That will create severe damage. EF4, 166 to 200 miles an hour. An EF4 is devastating to anything that it comes in contact with. That includes barns, silos, residential structures like flat houses, pole barns, whether it's like a pole barn built uh, building, not meaning it holds animals, but you'll have them garages and stuff, mechanic shops that's made with pole barn style construction. That can absolutely leave this stuff devastated or removed from the earth. Um, and the last one is an enhanced Fujita rating 5, an EF5. That's 200 miles an hour plus. Um, and the damage there is just devastating. I mean, or correction, incredible. It scars the earth when it moves through. Quick little side note: Dr. Fujita came to Xenia, Ohio, back during the 1974 super outbreak and declared that tornado to be an EF6, or correction, an F6. And they came back a little bit later and declared that an F6 is incomprehensible, and they backed it down to an EF5, which as now stands as the highest EF scale. Here at the Professional Storm Responder Storm Team, we really encourage people to get a weather radio. Here is a Midland NOAA weather radio. It's what a lot of us use. This is very important in the middle of the night. We do have a lot of nocturnal tornadoes. So it's very important in the middle of the night to be able to hear a warning promptly enough to get you and your family to safety. Again, whether that's out of the house or in. So if you get a chance, get one of these radios. It could literally mean the difference between life and death for a nocturnal tornado, or a tornado during the day that you're wrapped up in a project, not paying attention to weather. Now, once the tornado is past and it's safe to go out, it's really important to pay attention to the environment. Sometimes you have storms that train over one another, that follow each other. Sometimes you have a rapid cooling on the backside. But one of the biggest things is to look for in your environment is downed power lines. whether it's a whole tree that came down on it, a branch knocked it off, whatever the case may be, every line that comes off of that pole is considered charged and energized until somebody from your local um, power company gets there to test it and tell you it's not energized. Then then it becomes safe. Until that time, it is hot and it will kill you. You got to remember, some people are hooking up generators also that's feeding power backwards through the system. So even though the power might be out on the line, somebody might be feeding it electricity not knowing it. So stay very conscious on power lines, where they are at. Did they fall in water, which will energize the whole puddle? Did it fall on a chain link fence? And now the fence is energized, like, and when you go to open it, it can kill you. So electricity plays a big effect in recovering after a system has moved through, whether it be tornadic, straight line wind, or a derecho. In conclusion, I'd like to thank you guys for watching the video, giving us a little bit of time out of your day. We greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the Professional Storm Responders Storm Team. We're on all of the social media platforms: X, um, Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We're on all of them. Just search Professional Storm Responders Storm Team, and you'll get all of our information and weather reports as we get. If we go live for an event that's producing tornadoes, we'll go live and give you updates. Um, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and stay weather aware.